We are preparing to live stream the meeting and everything. So, yeah. And can y'all hear me okay with the mask and everything?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Props for the social responsibility, by the way.
Thank you. I try my hardest.
Coming from a place, I know Lexington is probably not that much different, but coming from a place where a lot of people are not observing that social responsibility, it's just, it's awesome.
Great. Well, we are live on Zoom now, so
Awesome.
great. Yes, we love it. We love to see it. So, y'all introduce yourselves.
Hi, we are Please Save My Earth. My name is Diana.
And my name is Colin. And we're going to play some music for you tonight and talk a little bit. We're excited.
Yay! I'm excited too. So, when we get into the music, I will mute myself and let y'all jam.
Thank you so much, Ray. Okay, so this is a brand new Please Save My Earth song. We have never performed it live before, and so we're so excited to debut it here tonight with you guys. It's called Fujiwara no Sai.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing, y'all. Thank you so much for sharing that. You said that was the first time that y'all performed that?
Yeah, that was the debut of Fujiwara no Sai. That was really fun to do.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
Thank you.
grateful that
Thank
y'all
you
chose
so
to
much.
share with. Of course. So, Diana, correct me. I think I saw this on your YouTube page. You said that you actually lived in Japan for a little bit or visited.
Yeah, so I studied at University of Kentucky and I graduated in 2016. And that's the year that we were DJs at WRFL. But after that, Colin and I eloped and moved to Japan for a year and taught English. And it was so much fun. It was honestly a life-changing experience, and we'll always consider it home in a way.
Oh, that is so amazing. So, I do not speak Japanese at all. So, what does that song title mean? The Fujiwara no Sai.
Well, first, let me say that I am in the same boat with you because even though I lived in Japan for a year, I still barely know any Japanese. So, no worries. So the song Fujiwara no Sai, so the name is actually the name of a character from a manga series, Hikaru no Go. It's about, Go, so like the Asian board game, like, chess,
Yeah.
shogi, whatever. So it's, it was in the same magazine as like Dragon Ball, One Piece, all that kind of stuff. But it's pretty much about this boy who comes across this, like he's a really irresponsible kid, whatever. Comes across this Go board that houses the soul of like 1,000-year-old Go master. And it's super emotional, really emo, really in like the best sense of the word. So Fujiwara no Sai is the ghost, is the main character. Like literally, he loved Go so much that he's still in the world, for better or for worse, whatever. But I guess the song itself. So really it's the name of a character from that series, but really for me it's kind of that song. It was really cool just playing. I mean, like really emotional. That's the first time we've really done it, like she said. But it's so on Leap Year we've got our song Annihilation, and the person that I pretty much wrote the lyrics for that. Me and Diana, we worked on a lot of the other parts of it together. But I was really thinking about this person really close to me, my high school English teacher. And she, right, like the summer that I graduated from UK, I finished up, and it was a really rough year, really rough summer, whatever. And so my high school English teacher, I grew up in you don't know, sorry. I grew up in a really small town. And she was just like, the perfect kind of, she was younger, cool. She was a lesbian. And, in like a super
Love
small
that.
town. And she was just, I was such a nerd and kind of like really, I'm still introverted now, but I was pretty introverted back then.
Yeah.
And, she was just one of those people that, looking back as an adult, I'm like, man, I'm so happy I had people like that in my life. So some stuff happened, just like life, whatever. And she committed suicide a few years ago.
Oh,
and that
wow.
was something that just like both really, it shook me, but it also like reaffirmed my belief in, if she, for me, was an example of, as I get older, like the kind of stuff I wish I could be more like, that the world could really use, whatever. So Annihilation on our album Leap Year was really me trying to purge a lot of the feelings I had about like death, eternity, all that kind of stuff when it happened. And just ultimately, though, it's like, she made me happy. She makes me want to live even more, just having that memory and everything. And so, but so that last song, that's really, while we were writing it together, me and Diana really did a lot more of the lyrics, like 50-50 with that one. Like I had a few ideas and then she came up with some and we kind of went back and forth. But that was kind of like the core inspiration of it for me, was just kind of what happened with her, and still trying to like, because just as I get older, I feel like I understand the world less, but I also understand people and everything so much more and whatever. And so, I feel like even that relationship is cool. Like, just literally singing, I feel like we just kind of work through something for, like personal whatever, right? And I feel like that's what's really cool about music, is just that expression, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I thought that my situation with my high school English teacher, I got really emotional thinking about that character from Hikaru no Go, and it was honestly kind of like, they're both saying, I feel the same thing, so it's just really cool. Anyway, so it's a manga, but, some real life stuff too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll shut up.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No, thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really glad that I'm really glad that y'all were able to share that with us, seriously, on WRFL Lexington and everything. So yeah, before we do another song, we're going to take a quick break to hear a message, but we will be back soon. And y'all want to do another song for us after we do that?
Absolutely.
Love it. All right. Just get my computer all set up and everything. And yeah, let's do it. I'll give you the signal and we're good to go.
This portion of WRFL's programming is made possible in part by Pops Resale. Pops Resale offers a selection of vintage records, clothes, and other collectibles. Pops Resale is located in the Meadowthorpe Shopping Center. More information, including their show calendar, can be found at popsresale.com. WRFL thanks Pops Resale for supporting college radio.
All right. You're ready whenever you are to share another song or do some more talking, if you please.
Okay, we're going to play another song for you.
All right.
This one is called Super Connected.
Yes, love this one.
Oh, awesome.
Yay!
Okay, it's for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Here we go. This is Super Connected.
Take 6 foot home.
Yes, we love it. Thank you all so much for that.
Thank you so much, Ray.
Of course, Diana, your voice is so amazing. Like you'll know I love women who make music and like the indie and alternative scenes and all that. And your voice is just so stunning and so like to my ears liking with my genres and everything. So yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. So how did y'all get into making music like this?
Um,
That's like a big question, but
this is a big question, but it's music is a lifelong love. I've been an emo kid for my whole life.
love it.
Yeah, I feel like I just was always obsessed with music, but super intimidated about making it or ever feeling like I could actually make music because I think I was so like putting bands on pedestals and just obsessing so much and not even like I don't know, it's you know what I'm saying? So
No, absolutely.
okay. Um so I just when we were living in Japan actually, I think I always was kind of interested in playing guitar as an idea but never actually did it. But we moved to Japan and I got a little $10 guitar at a thrift store there. It had a cracked neck and it was so hard to play. But I just kind of started teaching myself about 4.5 years ago. And I think songwriting kind of came naturally along with that. And us playing together came along a little bit later in the stage. In the stage, but we're all interested in the same types of music, and so I think I don't know if it feels really fun to make music with your best friend. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. That sounds like the absolute best thing in the world. So yeah, I totally felt what you said about the whole like putting bands on pedestal things. And even though like I work with bands and everything now, I still kind of get the same way where I'll be like, oh my gosh, Chastity Belt like saw my Instagram story. you know?
Yeah, I absolutely yeah, that was us. We would just go to shows, obsess.
And it's actually really cool because I quit my job 6 months ago into the pandemic, and I've had a lot of free time lately over the past little bit, for better for worse. You know, at first it was really amazing. Then it was like, whoa, I'm really questioning my life and a lot of things right now. But I think, I think ultimately it's for the better. I like to address those things. Um, but over the past few months, I found myself, especially now that my for once in my life, my social media identity wasn't tied to my, it was more like, oh, my persona of Please Save My Earth that, me and Diana are cultivating and everything compared to just
Right.
me. Which, once again, growing up in a small place, it's like, you're always like, oh man, what do people think of me, for better or for worse?
You have to be an individual.
Right, and I feel like that's also a really amazing thing in a lot of ways, because it's like you really, really interactions between people, that's what changes the world, and I feel like
Yeah, definitely.
being able to have that is really cool, but there's, it's not always great. But anyway, I started just kind of just doing weird stuff on my Instagram, and I found myself getting like just tiny little messages like a smiley face or just like an acknowledgement from people like Fred Durst or Justin Pierre from Motion City Soundtrack, or just a lot of people that for, whatever reason I look up to, when it comes to music influences, all that kind of stuff. So, so it's kind of that, as someone who's always also done the same thing of just really, having bands that they love and just like, that's my world. It's finally cool after being
Yeah.
kind of disillusioned with social media myself personally for a little bit. It's like, oh, well, these little interactions, I'm just like I'm like, yeah, I got a message back from Fred Durst. Now, honestly, I like Limp Bizkit and everything, but my dad loved Limp Bizkit. My dad loved Limp Bizkit so much, so it just felt like, it was like a really heartful kind of thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It was like so I kind of grew up listening to They Might Be Giants with my dad. And when I yeah,
That's cool.
thank you. And when I first got to the station and we had like artist IDs from They Might Be Giants saying like WRFL, I was like, oh my gosh, they know that we exist and everything.
Yeah, we definitely used to play that one on emo night when we were DJs.
Yes. Okay, so what was y'all's show called or shows?
Our show was emo night, and we were much like your
Yes.
first show. We were Friday mornings from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Oh
So
yeah.
we also had a general format hour in that, but we had so much fun. It was when the station was in the basement of Whitehall, and we just loved it. We did it just
Whitehall.
for
I
a
love
whole
it.
summer. It was so fun.
Yeah, so
You're okay. Yeah, we just played a lot of just our favorite songs, and it was so much fun getting to share it. And just the people who would call in and make your night or morning.
yes.
We literally every show we probably played. Did we play Sidekicks like once every hour?
Yes.
Our favorite band at the time, the Sidekicks, a little awesome band from Columbus. We played them every chance we had. And it was just so cool because we just get to be in the studio just like everything you choose.
Occasionally roller skating around down there.
Oh my gosh.
So fun.
That's amazing. No, it's so funny because like that's literally what I do with my show. It's just like, where's my opportunity to play Mitski?
It's so fun. I love it.
It's-
Yeah, no, and we're so happy to be playing on WRFL right now.
Yes,
It feels
it's like full
we've come full
circle.
circle.
Yeah, exactly. It's so cool, and I think it really does just like speak to the influence that like radio has on propagating even more amazing music. You know?
And that's another thing after growing up in a really small place where, I mean, I still like pop songs, radio pop, whatever. But, honestly, I feel like even when I first got to UK, I couldn't really appreciate WRFL as much as I did later on, just simply because I was so used to having to curate my own music so it like matched my taste perfectly for the most part, at least in terms of stuff that I knew. That when I first, because I just wasn't used to anything as eclectic or just diverse as WRFL, like growing up at all. So I feel like at first I never really listened to it, but then once we got involved and kind of saw everything else with it, it was like, okay, because it just gives you a little bit of everything, which I feel like our modern world probably does not do enough of.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's amazing to me to think about like how far my music taste has come since being introduced to radio. And now like I'm the local music director. Like I think that's probably one of the most
Which is so cool. We
Thank
are so
you.
happy for you, and we love hearing you.
Oh, thank you all so much.
And thank you for playing us.
No, of course. Always happy to, because y'all sound amazing.
We look forward
Yes.
to every Tuesday evening. Lipstick is optional. Show
Oh.
plug for Ray's show.
Thank you for hyping me up like this. Well, yeah, so on the topic of like kind of, so did y'all have much like music education when you were growing up aside from just like
No.
hearing the song? No, really?
No, my music education, the extent of was Guitar for Dummies chapter like 1 when I was 13 or something. And then, I played piano for my senior year of high school, but I promptly forgot everything after that. And then just my 4.5 years of teaching myself to play guitar. So, no.
And I also did not have any proper real music training. My grandma played piano in church and stuff, and I tried learning a little bit for like some anime music when I was like 14, but I stopped. It was just too hard for me. Whatever. And I started playing guitar when I was in college, and I took a class with an amazing guy, Chris Rose. Amazing guitarist. But it was just like a beginning guitar, and he was more like, I didn't learn much technical stuff. I just learned how to really appreciate guitar, I think, and just like what it's capable of, and just like the real feel behind it. But aside from that, it's pretty much been just total self-taught, just trying to emulate people that we really like. But all that said, I feel like I was very lucky to have a more informal music education with my father because my dad, looking back, so he passed away back when I was like 19, and he owned a record store in Middlesboro, Kentucky, like little, Eastern Kentucky town. Not a lot of independent music down there. And he had that for a little bit. Things didn't kind of work out. He had moved up to Lexington and lived there before he died. So I also have like a lot of good feelings with Lexington because of him. But a lot of that was just because he was so into music. His favorite person in the world was Cher. He had a Cher like sleeve tattoo.
Oh my gosh, an icon.
And my dad grew up as like, I love him, a gay kid in Appalachia. Like, I'm like 31, so he was, he was born in the 60s. So it was just kind of, I don't want to say in spite, because, it's just complicated, right? But I feel like regardless of everything, because of my family, his mom was really, really into music. My grandpa was really into music, and he just loved so much eclectic stuff. And so I feel very lucky, even though I didn't have a lot in school. And I feel like that's more because I just wasn't drawn to it in school the way that I was. You know, my dad playing Madonna or Deftones or Cher or whatever, you know, and just introducing us to stuff. He worked at Hot Topic at the mall in Lexington for a while, which was really cool. Then he fell and like broke his heel. Stuff kind of just went downhill. But it was one of those things like, you know, I feel like even though me and Diana didn't really have a lot of training or anything, and you know, that's not to say we haven't had a lot of help or people who were also interested who just kind of, you know, show us the ropes and everything. But I feel like luckily we were just exposed to a lot of cool music growing up, and I feel like that's just really, you know, that's just made us really hungry for it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So how are we feeling about doing another song after some messages?
Okay, yes, we would love to play another song for you.
Yay, we love to hear it. So we are going to just do some real quick messages, and then what are we going to hear next?
A song called A Little Light.
A Little Light.
A Little Light.
Beautiful. And for y'all,
it's a radio edit. It's just we were like, it doesn't
cool.
There's no expletives really, but we were like, we never like. I mean, we always played in Safe Harbor, so we're like, we got a clean version just to be extra clean, squeaky clean.
Always better safe than sorry. And you know what? I really appreciate that.
I got your back.
We will. Yes, and for those of y'all who are following along at home, you can find all of these song titles at wrfl.fm/plays under the show title WRFL Live. And that you can also find our contact information, things are going on around town, and more on WRFL.fm. So be sure to check it out. All sorts of amazing resources on the station. Yes, we are going to do some messages real quick, and we will be right back.
Hour with your host, Colonel Paco Chaos, featuring rockabilly, rhythm and blues, hillbilly boogie, doo-wop, and western swing from current and classic artists. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. on 88.1 FM WRFL Lexington. It's real gone, Daddy-O.
So following February's devastating winter storms, thousands of Texas residents were left without power, heat, food, and other basic needs. Many are still in need of assistance. WRFL has posted information on our website's blog so listeners can learn how to help. If you're interested, you can visit wrfl.fm/news and look for Relief Efforts for Texas for a list of mutual aid groups and relief organizations supporting Texas residents hit hard by the winter storm. WRFL thanks our listeners for helping in any way they can. And once again, that is wrfl.fm/news and Relief Efforts for Texas. And so, without further ado, we're going to get back into the music.
Saw you yesterday, changed your hair from the day before. Thought I heard you say that you didn't like me anymore. Why can't I survive with my shoes untied? I'm giving up everything, go home and touch myself. Think of you, not someone else. He's not he's my suffering and my best friend.
Wow. The the duality of bands, honestly, where you can go from just like this really kickin' song, like super connected, and then go into a little light, which is, it feels so different. Yes, that was lovely. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So that song is on your album. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on this album name? Oh my gosh.
It's called Leap Year.
Leap Year, that's right. I always want to say that it's like your self-titled album, but I know that's not right. And sorry about that. Please forgive me.
No worries, no worries. It's weird. It's weird because I also don't really think about the title of it that much. So.
Right. I don't know. I think a lot about like the song names really. But yes, that was absolutely lovely.
Thank you so much, Ray.
You're so welcome. So when y'all were at UK, we mentioned a little bit before that y'all did WRFL, which is absolutely awesome. Like, that's so cool.
We had so much fun with it.
We're so glad to hear that. Like, obviously, I love WRFL. So what kind of drew y'all to doing WRFL in the first place?
Ooh. What is the true story? I think, well, like we said before, we just definitely are in love with music. I don't know. No. Colin knows the real story. I don't know it.
Go for it, Colin.
I know, it's cool. No, we were just I had some friends while I was at UK who were involved with the station. It was, like I said, for me, it was kind of like, well, I finally was coming to appreciate it. So I was like, maybe before we leave and get out of here, we can, try it out. And it was really cool for how, I'd already graduated from school at that point. And, just, of course, the community aspect, it was just very, it's just very cool. But I don't know. It's something that we're kind of jonesing for a little bit after, we moved. So we currently, you're hearing us from Wise, Virginia, on the other side of Eastern Kentucky, like 3 hours away. Pretty small town, Wise, Virginia. It's got a college, a branch, division of a division of UVA, so like in Charlottesville. So it's like a small town, but it's also got like, so it's like a small town with a college there too. So after being back here, there's a lot of stuff that I can come back from somewhere, like having lived in a small place, going to a bigger place, then coming back to a small place. I'm like, okay, I understand now that we don't have everything, but there's a lot more here than I ever really realized before. And now that, it's not perfect, but whatever. But, we have not had we've had a lot of really cool opportunities since we've come here. Like Diana got to put on a play. Like she wrote a play and we directed it and had a show right before COVID hit. Literally, it was a snowy night in February. We literally filled up the entire theater, which granted, it's like a small theater. It's not like some of UK stuff. But that was the first time Diana really played Petunias for people, which is the closer on our album. And, so we had a lot of really cool opportunities like that. We actually, thinking back, me and Diana first started, the first thing that we did together musically was my old college theater professor, Michael Hunt. There's a picture of him on the wall. I guess you can't see over there, but a painting rather. But he asked us to score a play he was doing. And I had a band when I was in college here, and I mean, we were cool. Miss Joshua, Patricia Ray, shout out. I loved all my friends in that thing.
The subtle we were cool.
But I mean, we were weird, but I had just started playing guitar, and my friends just were so awesome and cool. Josh, Joel, Spencer, Cody, Everett, Christian, everyone who played around with me. But, it was just, I didn't probably have, that was really cool in a lot of ways, but also, like, when I go back and listen to the old stuff on my SoundCloud or something, I'm like, it's a little rough. So, just knowing that my theater professor, that's what he knew me from, and he still asked us to come and score his play, made me think, as a teacher, I was like, I've already been graduating, gone across the world, and I came back. I'm not even paying to go here, and he's still, like, progressing my life in so many different ways at, like, a creative level. So the music that we did for that was absolutely, I mean, we listened to it the other day. We have some of it on our YouTube, and it's, like, horrible recording, whatever. But for us, it's, like, really cool because we hear a lot of leap year in it, and honestly, some of the stuff that we didn't turn into leap year or more from it or whatever, it's maybe not like ripping it off, but it's giving us like, whoa, I really like what we were trying to do there. Let's try to refine that a little bit,
Can you really rip off your own music though?
Well, no, and I, honestly, I feel like we are definitely driven by a lot of inspirations. Probably we've had so many, we've talked about like inspirations for leap year, and I mean, a lot of it's just like emo, whether it's like the mall punky. Of course, I love like My Chemical Romance, like Paramore is literally one of my favorite of all time bands. Like I've seen them there so many times. I love them so much.
Yes.
But also, we like The Promise Ring, we like Rainer Maria, like. So all that's emo. Everything, emo for me is more just like, it's really just about emotional vulnerability and just really intensely feeling something. I mean, sometimes that's messy and sometimes that's, it's complicated.
And I think that's the feeling that we always try to get across, like in our show Emo Night. And I think that's kind of what drove what songs we were choosing. And ultimately to come full circle back to like why we chose WRFL, because you could just, it's so freeing to be able to play what you want and not have to have ads. And even like the show plugs are just, they're fun and I love them. Like we have favorite ones, and I love the one that you kicked off like tonight with. So
Yay. Oh my gosh, I felt that so hard. Like one of the things that I love so much about being able to do WRFL is that even if I just have a really bad day in class, or like some guy is mean to me, or I can just go into the station and I have my show and I can just play like the angstiest music that I can to just get it out.
It's your own world that you're creating.
It's my own world.
Right? But other people feel it. The first, even though it's just stuff like, I mean, no, I like Hawthorne Heights, and I, of course, like I love My Chem, whatever. But the first time someone called me and they were like, dude, hearing Ohio is for lovers again. You just really made my night. And it's like, and it's like 2:00 in the morning, and you just know that someone was out there and, they're in your world too. And it's not right. It's like you're just making that together, which is just a really cool feeling.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Like I've had a 67-year-old man call in and say that he loved a Mitski song that I played. And that is like honestly one of my highlights of being a DJ here.
That's awesome.
Thank you. So what other kind of music have y'all been listening to lately? I know they all touched on some bands that you kind of grew up with, but what's kind of been on your playlist as of late?
I would say we actually just talked about this because we were like, I have a feeling Ray's going to ask this. So we really tried to trace back our inspirations for Leap Year and just kind of what we've been interested in playing recently. And so there's this Japanese rock band called Number Girl that we have been, I think we just find them. Yeah, a friend of ours from Japan named Toshiki introduced us to them, and it just it's one of those bands when you hear them, it just changes your world, and it just totally blew our minds, and we were like, we want to sound like this. And I felt like it spurred us into doing it, because into like making music and trying to maybe achieve our own sound. But definitely Number Girl is a huge influence right now. They would Colin, if you couldn't hear that in the mic, but Colin was just like, they're super influenced by Sonic Youth and Pixies, and they would sometimes like slip in a Pixies cover into their set, which we think is super cool.
That's really rad.
Since we've been back from Japan, another huge inspiration has been Oasis, actually. I'd never gotten into them before. Obviously, everyone and their mother has heard Wonderwall like however many thousands of times. Which
Anyway.
I also love. That is not Wonderwall hate. But we got obsessed. We found like an 89-cent copy of What's the Story Morning Glory at this bookstore we love in Knoxville called McKay's. We would just always like comb the scratch CD section and see what was cool, because our aux cable in our car didn't work. So we had so many CDs in the car. And so we would just wear them out. And I think that was that's a lot of fun. And hearing the songs over and over again, you kind of dissect them in a way, especially like once we started, like, or for me personally, once I started playing music, I think I just heard it all totally differently.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I'd say just maybe one more thing to add in there. There's been a lot of just different, just like sounds of a lot of bands. Like, we really got into Archers of Loaf, like their song Web in Front, and like some of their early stuff. We got really into this Scottish, I'm pretty sure they're Scottish band, Yurusei Yatsura, where, that's honestly where we kind of took our name inspiration. So Please Say My Earth is the name of, it's a shoujo manga series from like the late 80s, mid 90s, about this girl who moves from Hokkaido, which is where we lived in Japan, and she moves to Tokyo, and suddenly over a few volumes, she realizes that her and these other kids are they're having like shared dreams. So they're having they're dreaming of the same situations just from different perspectives, like, they're a character in it, whatever, and they realize, it's not that big of a spoiler that they're all like reincarnated, and there's like all this crazy drama that happened. It's beautiful, it's amazing, it's tragic, it's powerful, it's hard, it's just a really, really, we love it so much. And even aside from that, like, we just think, please save my Earth, like, not in a victim kind of way, but it's just like, please save my Earth. Just like a rally call or something.
I love that.
So Yurusei Yatsura, they've got this really amazing song. I only came across them because I was actually looking for a copy of like the manga, the comic book, and I was like, what, there's a band called Yurusei Yatsura? And they are so awesome. They're like mid-90s. They have a song called Slain by Elf, from like 2000, 2001. And it, no joke, if we had to pick just like a few songs to really distill like the ethos or the mood or just the feeling of it, I think there's just like a really intense, earnest weirdness that's there. That's just really, that's what we want to create with Please Say My Earth, I think. So it really fit in a lot of ways.
That's awesome. I love that. So just want to say, so it is currently 9:46. Time just flew by.
No, I thought we had a good conversation.
Yeah, this is fun.
No, it's really flown by. So that's cool.
So,
but we definitely maybe I'll shut up. And we play a few songs.
This is your time.
Well, hey,
Awesome.
we'll try to, for everyone who's stuck around this far. Well, if you're just tuning in, we'll fit in some cool ones for you.
So we got one more message for the show just to round everything out, and then afterwards, we're gonna do another song. Question mark?
Yes, we're gonna play Snake Eyes, and we're super excited about it, and this has been so much fun.
Hey, I'm so glad. It has been an absolute joy having you all here. So thank you all so much.
For our first radio performance.
And what better place to do it than the place it all began?
Here with all of you all. Thanks.
Yes, of course. Yes, we are going to do a quick little break, and we'll be right back with Snake Eyes by Please Save My Earth.
This portion of WRFL's programming is made possible in part by Broomway.
Maybe after Snake Eyes, before we go into Oasis, because we can mention Oasis, then let's just mention Drug Buddy.
As an inspiration.
Because really, it's almost the same chords.
Yeah,
the same way as.
We were obsessed with that.
So let's mention just like if you can just talk about. I might say that still.
Snakes have eyes. What's there to see? When I love you, that's all there is to me.
Sorry, I realized I was muted on the Zoom, but
Oh, okay,
I had the mic turned on the station. But
no
yes,
worries, no worries.
seriously, thank you all so much for playing this. It's such a joy to hear these like as live as they possibly can be, and it's been so much fun having y'all here on the show.
This has been so much fun, and you're right, it's just flown by.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to it.
So where can people keep up with the band?
We have a Bandcamp page, pleasesaveMyEarth.bandcamp.com. You can follow us there. We sent out a message to our followers on there earlier today. We're like, hey guys, we actually have something that we can promote. We can't wait to play, have gigs. And it's weird being a band that formed during quarantine or put stuff out during quarantine and just not feeling like we can play right now or that we'd want to even, but we can't wait until the time that we can.
For sure. Yeah. So what are y'all's hopes for the future with this band, or just in general, even past COVID and everything?
If we can be honest, we would like Please Save My Earth to save the world.
Yes.
So yeah, that.
I think that's a great goal to have, honestly.
Thanks, Ray.
Of course.
We figured you would understand. I was like, can we be honest?
You can be as honest as you want on here, as long as it complies with FCC policy.
Right. Gotcha.
Yes.
So I think we have time for one more. Is that right?
If y'all want to, yeah, it is. It's about to be 54, so yeah, if y'all want to do another song, please be my guest. You are my guest.
We would like to dedicate this final song to the memory of Nobuko Patton. She was a Japanese teacher at UK that Colin and I both had while we were students there. And she passed away right after we moved back from Japan. And she, I think, is just a huge inspiration to us. And she always inspired people to be honest and be their true selves. And I think she really exemplified that as a person and as a teacher. And we just loved her so much. And so this one's for her. It's called Oasis.
gosh, thank you all so much. I was seriously almost in tears there just hearing the dedication behind the song and then actually hearing this song that I've listened to so much like live. It's just like,
Thank you
it's
so
spectacular.
much.
Of course, it's been such a joy. So if there's got one more question for y'all, if there's anything that you would like the WRFalians who are listening in to know about your band or to know about your music, what would it be?
I think we are just trying to be as genuine as we can with our music and trying to connect with people through it in any way. I think so much of the songs, even just separately from what we're thinking of when we're writing them, I think the goal is always to just connect and remind everybody that there are things that we all feel and can experience together, and there are things that language doesn't, like words, have a hard time getting across, and I think channeling it through the music is what we're trying to do. So yeah, we've been Please Save My Earth, and this has been one of the highlights. Okay, the highlight of 2021. So thank you so much for having us, Ray.
You're so welcome. It has been amazing having y'all here. And for those of y'all who are listening in, be sure to stay tuned at 10 for the Pockabilly Hour, and be sure to keep up with WRFL's Instagram and social medias and website WRFL.fm to see even more WRFL live things. And Colin, would you like to finish us off?
So just really thank you to anyone who chose to listen to this or just happened upon it or just heard a bit of it. Even if you're already gone, I'm sending this out to your memory. Just, we were really nervous about this, but also really excited, and literally it's just been such a cool experience for us, something that we really have not felt throughout the past, really for the past year. So thanks for being here with us. Thank you so much if you support us, because we've got a lot of friends who have been really supportive about our music, who just, they're, especially where we weren't like musicians first, it was just, friends that we had, people that I met at concerts, a lot of people that I've met at concerts over the years, that I've stayed friends with through Facebook and social media, and I feel like that's the biggest reason I want to stick around on stuff like that, is just because, when you saw people like that, when I met people at shows, and I drive, growing up, super small places, just go everywhere, but I just, thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to you, Ray.
Thanks. Of course. And thank you all once again so much for being on here, and we hope to hear more from y'all soon. It's been Please Save My Earth on WRFL Live, and thank you all so much for listening in. So, night, WRFalians, and good night, Please Save My Earth.
WRFL Lexington